I want to talk about a single word today: chaos. So I remember during the 2016 presidential primary for Republicans, Jeb Bush, whose ship was sinking, but Jeb Bush said something I thought that was incredibly telling and insightful about Donald Trump. He said, Donald Trump is a chaos candidate, and if he's elected, he'll be a chaos president. Now, that remark did Jeb Bush no good. Donald Trump was what Republican primary voters wanted. He won the Republican primary relatively easily and went on to be elected president. But I've had that word kicking around as it relates to Trump in my head for a really long time. And in 2024, early 2024, I had lunch with a Democratic media consultant, a really, really smart guy. And at the time, we were talking about what messaging could Joe Biden use effectively against Donald Trump. Biden was still in the race. And he told me that Biden's focus on democracy was not working. That if Biden kept talking about how democracy was in danger and that's why Donald Trump had to be defeated, it wouldn't work because voters didn't buy that. Whether they should have or shouldn't have, that's a whole different conversation. But he said to me the message that would work, that he had seen work in focus groups, was chaos. That like Trump or hate Trump, you had to admit Donald Trump caused chaos. And that in Trump's first term, even people, not the hardcore MAGA-ites, but people who had voted for him got sick of the chaos. They just felt like all the late night tweets and all the unpredictability and all the my red button is bigger than your red button to Kim Jong-un just created this kind of frenetic, chaotic environment that made it harder for them to feel comfortable living their lives. Okay, so I've been kind of thinking about that because Kamala Harris didn't really talk about that during the campaign. Joe Biden didn't really talk about during the campaign. And candidly, I think that was one reason why Donald Trump's president again. But I've been thinking a lot about that word. And my friends at Third Way, which is a sort of Democratic centrist think tank, did some polling very recently. They released it this morning, Friday morning. And I want to just read you something. Here's what this is in their analysis. Voters' souring mood toward Trump could be attributed to one word: chaos. When asked if certain words or phrases accurately describe Trump, chaotic handily topped the list, with 62% of voters saying it adequately described him. They said Trump's 2024 campaign was premised on the question of which candidate would provide order and which would bring chaos. Now, Trump is clearly viewed as chaotic thanks to his bizarre and haphazard approaches to both the economy and fixing government. Now, the last part is a little bit of editorializing, but I do think it's really important that 6 in 10 voters, not 6 in 10 Democrats, 6 in 10 voters, so independents, Republicans, Democrats, across the board, 60% said chaotic was a word they would use to accurately describe Donald Trump's second term. And I really do think if Democrats are looking for a way to break Donald Trump's political hold, it is not Donald Trump is a terrible person. It is not Donald Trump is ruining democracy. It is not Donald Trump is America's Hitler. That stuff might work for the Democratic base, but it doesn't sway independent and low information voters. I think that word chaos is what works. Why is he creating so much chaos? Why does every day feel, why is the tariffs in place and he's never going to change them and then he's pausing them? Why is there so much unpredictability? That makes people feel uncertain, unsteady, skeptical. And if I was the Democratic Party, I would talk every day. He's creating chaos in the economy. He's creating chaos in trade. He's creating chaos on legally. He's creating chaos in Congress, right? Just use that word as the umbrella to, maybe I'm talking about umbrellas today because it's raining outside, but use that word as the umbrella to make the broader critique of Trump. Because again, I think that's the way in. We'll see if they do it. If past his prologue, they won't. But I really do think that's your path if you're a Democrat. Anyway, wanted to keep that word, watchword of chaos, in mind. I think it is critically important if Democrats want to make an effective case to independents and swing voters about why Donald Trump isn't their guy. As always, if you don't subscribe, it's free. Just hit the subscribe button. Come on, people. Let's do it. Take care.